Alchemy Theater Company has been around for about 6 or 7 years now, and since 2013. And what we do is we go around to other theaters and we rent out their theaters, doing shows that maybe they wouldn't be able to do, or just quick put down shows and things like that. Alchemy is really about the mythology and the idea of taking smaller pieces and putting and synthesizing them together to make something that other people would think is magical, and that's what alchemy does. We set dressers, actors, directors, everything, including audience members, and we put that together, and that's what theater is to us. Alchemy wanted to produce this play because it's just so exciting. For starters, it was going to be a West Coast premiere for us, so we were very excited about that. And then I just know a lot of people in theater who enjoy the mythos of the certain schools of magic and how important that is to all of us and the lessons that can be gleaned from it. And once I watched the production, the filmed production that they have online, I thought, oh, this is silly and this is going to be, it'll be fun, but it's very niche. But when you get into the story and you get into the show, it's so important. The messages, even within this show, not just from the subject material, are so heartfelt and they're real. And I'm just very, very excited to share this show with people who might only know the subject material and not know what a great enjoyment they're going to get out of this. The Puff universe takes place in our own world. It starts in Catalpoke Springs, New Mexico, and then we are taken to a certain school of magic. And so we meet Wayne, who is our sort of everyman lead character, and he's also an orphan, and he also has dreams of being this regular kid who just happens to be a wizard and be a hero, and that's how we all feel when you watch this pop culture and these movies and TV shows and everything and read these books. And he's transported to this magical world, and he meets people that some are like him and some are not like him, and just navigating that as a kid who wants to do amazing things and coming to terms with sometimes we're not the heroes that we think we're going to be, but sometimes we become more than that. There are a ton of interesting characters in Puffs. Each actor plays a track of several characters in the show. So you have everything from a certain potions professor, you have a Professor McGee, and then you all the characters that you are figuring that you're going to see in the show. And then more importantly in that, the writers, Matt Cox, and I'm sure a great team that he put together for the show, all the characters within the show are based off of counterparts in their subject material. So that's really interesting as well. And most importantly, we meet the narrator who is telling this story, and then also our trio, Megan, Oliver, and Wayne, who we follow throughout the show, and each of them come to terms with what has put them in the Puffs house and how that element of themselves is not something to be shied away from, something to be embraced. So Puffs have a habit of being silly and strange, and some would say weird, but that's what makes them great. They're not just one thing, they're all kinds of things, and I think that's all the characters in the show really exhibit that kind of behavior. What I find appealing about Puffs is its message towards the end of the show. There's a lot of fun and a lot of silly things, and we lampoon a lot of the subject material in the show. But with Puffs, towards the end of the show, you get to see what it really means to be a hero, and what it really means to be a friend, and what it really means to be a witch or wizard in this world. The world of a certain school of magic is very dangerous and fraught, and just being a teenager at all is dangerous and fraught. And so to combine both of those together and really get to those messages and life's lessons at the end of the story is something, it almost catches you off guard without being too cheesy. It's very sentimental, and I really enjoy it. The Puffs acting team is a fantastic group of 11 actors, and they have to play around 70 different characters. So they're so wonderful in that they get to change between all of these characters, and they do it with zeal and gusto, and I really, really appreciate all of that about them. And they're willing to play, and they're willing to have fun. Some of the actors are returning Alchemy actors, so Joey Nestra, Kelly Martin, Phil Nieto, Brian Pernat, and then we have some newcomers and Brittany Cotter as well, as I already mentioned. And then we have some newcomers in Kyle and Eric, Chelsea, and Lydia, Rebecca, and the rest of the Alchemy team helping me with PUFFS this time around is Kelsey Somerville, and she's our stage manager, and she's doing a fantastic job. Kelsey is so dedicated to spreadsheets and making sure everything that is organized and perfectly laid out, doing calls, rehearsal reports, everything that you need a stage manager to be. And I wouldn't be anywhere without her in this project. And then other Alchemy company members, our newest company member, Brittany Cotter, is in the show. She's one of the actors. She plays Sally Perks in the show. And then Jim Lowe, my dad, is our set design and carpenter for the show. So he's working on all of that. Other company members, Kathleen Switzer is working on buttons and things like that, some merchandising. So is Daniel Conder. It's really all hands on deck. Tucker Boys, Laura Lee, Barlow Boys is working on some merchandising and stuff too. So everybody's really, really working hard. I think my favorite spell is probably just Eat Slugs, because it has no qualities of being a spell at all. It's just saying the thing that it's doing, and that just kind of makes me laugh. I think my favorite character in the play is the narrator, for a lot of reasons that you find out towards the end of the show. But he's exceptionally witty and charming, and you also see him very much as a person. He gets exasperated about things. So he's a great storyteller within a story itself, and I find that really engaging. My house in the world of PUFFS would be the Braves, because if I hear the word dragon, I'm going to run towards that. If adventure calls, then I'm going to head right to it. If I wasn't the director of PUFFS, I would definitely want to be the narrator. He's a lot of fun. I guess that also makes me kind of a director, though, because he's telling the story as well. And he doesn't get directly involved very much, but that's just the kind of person I am. The word PUFFS means to me loyal, hardworking, and integrity. I want the audience to take away from PUFFS the idea, and they mention it in the show, and I really take it to heart, that PUFFS are loyal and kind and work hard, and that they play fair when the world is anything but fair. And that is something really, really important. And also the idea that you don't have to be a brave or a smart or a snake or a puff. You can be all these things, and those parts that make you a puff are oftentimes the things that make you a better person. And I want everybody to get from this show to embrace those parts of you, that they're not something that you should be ashamed of just because they are easy to do. Sometimes they're the hardest things to do, and it's really important. Southern California audiences should come to PUFFS or 7 Eventful Years at a certain school of magic and magic, because it is a West Coast premiere. You should definitely see the show. It did very well on Broadway, but more importantly, that the show has a lot of heart. It's a lot of fun, and I can't imagine spending a better 2 hours in a theater than being with my friends, learning about other people, and just having a lot of fun, laughing, and learning life lessons.